Right. Good evening, commissioners. Welcome to the evening meeting. We'll give just a moment to allow Chair Harrington to join us. I'm not seeing the chair join. Mr. Vice Chair, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Clerk Moss. So I will call to order the evening board meeting for August 23rd and ask for roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. The Washington County Board of Commissioners also meeting as the Board of Directors for Clean Water Services and all other county service districts, now meeting this regular session, August 23rd, 2022. Commissioner Rogers?
Here.
Commissioner Fye?
Here.
Vice Chair Willie?
Here. Commissioner Treese is excused, and we will expect the arrival of Chair Harrington momentarily. And so while we're doing that, Clerk Moss, do we have anyone for public communication?
We had no one sign up, Mr. Vice Chair, and the Chair is joining us right now. So I'll just pause that for a second and she can join.
Okay.
Thank you, Vice Chair Willie, for getting us going. And so no one is here to testify. Is that what I understood?
We just paused it, Madam Chair, to allow you to join. So we have one hand, Brian St. John. Brian, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead for up to 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, board members. My name is Brian St. John, resident of unincorporated Washington County. I am here to ask a question of the board tonight. Many of you will recall the meeting on April 26th this year where the final vote for the expansion of the recycling program was held. It was a long night, many giving testimony about the nature of the franchise hauler certificate system that's been in place, as many of you know, since the late 60s. I applaud the expansion of the recycling program. I have signed up. I have started using it. Not super impressed so far, but yes, I have provided feedback on the program because I think it's a good first step. It would not have happened without innovation from the outside. So my question to the board is this: when can we expect action to review the overall hauler franchise system? The closest item I've seen was an item pulled that was on the agenda of the June 16th GRAC committee meeting titled Solid Waste and Recycling Admin Rules, but was not discussed. It's been over 90 days since that April meeting. All I'm looking for is a way for innovation to be introduced into our recycling program. I am curious to see if the board here is able to push the GRAC committee to take this item on, to look at it. I think it's super important in the 21st century. It needs to be addressed. And so that is my question to the board tonight. I appreciate you guys giving me an opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Brian. Would any other members of the public like to provide public testimony at this time? I'll allow you just a minute to raise your hands. Not seeing any additional hands, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Clerk Moss. The next item on our agenda this evening is the consent agenda. The consent agenda for today consists of 16 items. 2 sets of Board of Commissioner meeting minutes, 2 items from Clean Water Services, 1 item from County Administration, 2 items from the Office of Community Development, 2 items from Health and Human Services, 1 item from the Juvenile Department, 2 items from Support Services, and 4 items from Land Use and Transportation. What are the wishes of the commission regarding the consent agenda? We have a motion from Commissioner Rogers. We have a second from Vice Chair Willie. All those in favor of adopting tonight's consent agenda, please raise your hand. Thank you, commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries 4-0. Thank you, commissioners. And Vice Chair Willie may have said this at the beginning of the meeting, but since I was a few minutes late joining, Commissioner Treese is excused as she is on vacation. The next item on the agenda is proclamations. This evening, we have a proclamation to recognize this month as Hispanic Heritage Month. And I would like to turn it over to our Chief Equity and Inclusion Officer, Ms. Latricia Tillman. Latricia, please take it away.
Thank you. Good evening y buenas tardes, Chair Harrington and Commissioners. Mi nombre es Latricia Tillman. Soy la directora de la Oficina de Equidad, Incluso y Participación de la Comunidad. For the record, my name is Latricia Tillman. I'm the director of the Office of Equity, Inclusion, and Participation and Community Engagement. Estoy bien orgullosa de compartir unos comentarios sobre la celebración del mes de la herencia hispana. I am pleased to offer a few introductory remarks on our cultural heritage celebrations before I turn it over to David Martinez. En nuestro condado multicultural, la diversidad del personal nos hace más fuertes y nos apoyan en un gobierno más efectivo y eficiente. El personal latino, latine, hispano, tiene una larga y orgullosa historia aquí y ha contribuido en gran medida a la fuerza laboral de nuestro condado, ayudándonos a prosperar como una comunidad sólida donde todos tenemos algo que aportar. Por lo tanto, es apropiado que nos tomemos el tiempo para reconocer y apreciar las contribuciones del personal latino, latine, hispano y sus comunidades. In our multicultural county, the diversity of our staff makes us stronger and helps us run a more effective and efficient government. Latinx and Hispanic staff members have a long and proud history here and have greatly contributed to our county's workforce, helping us to thrive as a strong community where we all have something to contribute. Therefore, it is appropriate that we take the time to acknowledge and appreciate the contributions of our Latinx and Hispanic staff in their communities. Washington County Cultural Heritage celebrations and resource pages are an important starting point for our collective organizational engagement and learning about equity, diversity, and inclusion. The Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations we will enjoy this month have been planned and organized by upwards of 20 staff from Washington County and Clean Water Services who volunteered to support our learning in addition to their official work. And a little correction, it starts next month. We're just here at the end of August, getting ready for Hispanic Heritage Month to start mid-September. These cultural celebrations offer an opportunity to establish and maintain relationships with the staff and community who identify as Hispanic, Latino, Latina, y Latinx, Chicano, Mexicano, Trique, Mixteco, Zapoteco, y más, to build trust and deepen our understanding of these diverse and growing communities in Washington County. Our cultural celebrations also create an opportunity to learn about the historic and present oppression of the Hispanic or Latino community and the community's resilience in the face of that oppression, so that we can reflect on whether or not our current policies and sentiments support the well-being of the Hispanic or Latino community and dismantle racism and white supremacy. No culture is monolithic. All cultures, ethnicities, and nationalities encompass a range of diverse life experiences and opinions. And more than 33 countries and far more ethnicities are included within the Hispanic Latinx community. Consequently, the celebrations and resource pages for Hispanic Heritage Month celebration may not present a comprehensive picture of the nuances or full range of opinions within any culture or subculture. However, we do know that the Heritage Month Committee is very thoughtful about the learning opportunities they are planning to share with our Washington County community. So we encourage people who may be curious about what is or is not presented or the policy implications of what is shared this month to reach out to us at OEICE or open a dialogue with the colleagues, with their colleagues and or the planning committee members. And I would just like to thank all the members of the Hispanic Heritage Month Planning Committee who met over the past few weeks under the leadership of Committee Chair Cristina Oliveros Foltz. And so at this point, I'd like to hand it over to our newest Assistant County Administrator, David Martinez.
Gracias, Latricia. Chair Harrington, Commissioner Fye, Commissioner Rogers, and Vice Chair Willie, I am honored to be a part of today's presentation. Since joining Washington County, I have heard from you and others about the tremendous work and effort of our dedicated staff. Today's Hispanic Heritage Month proclamation is an opportunity to highlight staff and a community that serves, leads, and are an integral part of the history and future of the county. Personally, for me, es una oportunidad para reconocer, celebrar mi cultura y historia. It is a chance to recognize, celebrate my culture and history. The lessons we learned at home, traditions we pass on, and the perspective of our experiences and background provide is a strength, a source of pride, and we all benefit from sharing. Las lecciones que aprendimos en la casa, las tradiciones y la perspectiva de nuestras experiencias es una fuerza, nos da orgullo y todos ganamos cuando compartimos. So, my name is David Martinez. I am the son of immigrant parents, farm workers from Mexico. I grew up in Eastern Oregon. I am first generation to complete high school and earn a college degree. With me, we have Cristina Pilar Oliveros Foltz, daughter of an immigrant from Mexico, first generation to complete a bachelor's degree from Western Oregon University. She has been at Washington County for almost a year as a bilingual Oregon Needs Assessor for Developmental Disabilities under Health and Human Services Division. Also, Arturo Peraza, he was born in Mexico, where he lived until the age of 8. He grew up in Los Angeles and studied criminal justice at Gonzaga University. He's a Washington County juvenile counselor and has been serving youth and families since November 1993. He holds the first designated bilingual position at Washington County. Entonces, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this presentation. And now I will turn it over to Arturo.
Buenas tardes. Good evening. How are you guys? Thank you for including me. Thank you, David, for the very, very nice comments. That's a very nice welcome. And good evening to you guys, the commissioners of Washington County, to our county administrators and fellow employees who are joining us today. I also want to thank the group who put this together. It's a lot of work and it's something to really look forward to while it comes a little early right now. We know that in the middle of September, we'll start the fiesta, start the celebrations. So be prepared for it. Tengo el gusto de participar esta tarde aquí con ustedes. Les agradezco mucho por la invitación y por tus palabras, David. Le agradezco a todo el grupo, el comité que se encargó de organizar las festividades y esta noche les agradezco mucho a la comisión también y espero que pasen bonita noche. Mi trabajo aquí ahora, my job today, is to start the proclamation. una proclamación en honor al mes de la herencia hispana del 15 de septiembre de 2022 al 15 de octubre del 2022, considerando que cada año en los Estados Unidos celebra el mes nacional de la herencia hispana, celebrando la cultura, la herencia y las innumerables contribuciones de aquellos cuyos antepasados fueron indígenas de América del Norte, incluido México, así como aquellos que vinieron de América Central, América del Sur, España y el Caribe.
A proclamation in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th, 2022 through October 15th, 2022. Whereas each year, the United States observes National Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating the culture, heritage, and countless contributions of those whose ancestors were indigenous to North America, including Mexico, as well as those who came from Central America, South America, Spain, and the Caribbean. And
y considerando que lo que comenzó en 1968 como la Semana de la Herencia Hispana bajo el presidente Johnson, fue ampliado por el presidente Reagan en 1988 para cubrir un periodo de 30 días que comienza el 15 de septiembre y termina el 15 de octubre.
Whereas what began in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Johnson was expanded by President Reagan in 1988 to cover a 30-day period starting on September 15th and ending on October 15th.
Y considerando que la fecha del 15 de septiembre es significativa por el aniversario de la independencia de los países latinoamericanos de Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras y Nicaragua. Además, México y Chile celebran su independencia el 16 y el 18 de septiembre, respectivamente.
Whereas the date September 15th is significant because it is the anniversary of independence for the Latin American countries of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Additionally, Mexico and Chile celebrate their independence days on September 16th and September 18th, respectively.
Y considerando que el tema este año, Unidos, Inclusividad para una nación más fuerte, nos alienta a conectarnos con nuestra herencia y comunidad hispana. El tema refuerza la necesidad de garantizar que las diversas voces y perspectivas sean bienvenidas y los procesos en los cuales se toman decisiones, ayudando así a construir una comunidad más fuerte y una nación más fuerte.
Whereas this year's theme, Unidos, Inclusivity for a Strong Nation, encourages us all to connect with our Hispanic heritage and community. The theme reinforces the need to ensure diverse voices and perspectives are welcomed in decision-making processes, thereby helping to build a stronger community and a stronger nation.
Y considerando, reconocemos y honramos las muchas formas en las que los hispanos han enriquecido el tejido de nuestra sociedad, mientras nos volvemos a dedicar a abordar la falta de igualdad de acceso y las oportunidades que muchos aún enfrentan.
Whereas we recognize and honor the many ways that Hispanics have enriched the fabric of our society, and we rededicated ourselves to address the lack of equal access to opportunity that many face.
Y considerando que la población hispana de los Estados Unidos es ahora 62.1 millones, constituyendo el 18.7% de la población total.
Whereas the Hispanic population of the United States is now 62.1 million, constituting 18.7% of the total population.
Y considerando que en el condado de Washington, la población hispana es ahora 107,642, constituyendo aproximadamente 17.9% de nuestra población total, con un promedio de 24 años de edad y el poder económico que representa 3 billones para nuestra economía estatal y 6,300 empresas en el estado.
Whereas in Washington County, the Hispanic population is now 107,642,000, constituting approximately 17.9% of our total population, with a median age of 24. This represents $3 billion in economic purchasing power in the state of Oregon and 6,300 businesses owned statewide.
Y considerando que en el condado de Washington, la población hispana representa varias nacionalidades e orígenes, todos los cuales contribuyen de una manera positiva a los sectores educativos, sin fines de lucro, gubernamentales, empresariales, que reflejan la diversidad del pueblo estadounidense.
Whereas in Washington County, the Hispanic population represents a wide range of nationalities and backgrounds, all of whom make a positive contribution to educational, nonprofit, government, and business sectors, which reflect the remarkable diversity of the American people.
Y considerando los empleados hispanos del condado de Washington representan el 12% de la fuerza laboral y marcan la diferencia en todo el condado, brindando servicios y brindando liderazgo en todos los departamentos. El empleado hispano con más años de servicio ha contribuido 35 años continuos al condado de Washington.
Whereas Washington County Hispanic employees comprise 12% of our workforce, delivering services and providing leadership in all departments throughout the county. The longest serving Hispanic staff member has contributed 35 years of continuous service to Washington County.
Y considerando que los hispanos continúan su rica tradición de contribuciones significativas y diversas a la vitalidad cultural, educativa, económica, social y política del condado de Washington, que incluye, entre otras, Adelantes Mujeres, Bienestar, Centro Cultural, Latino Network y Virginia García.
Whereas Hispanics continue their rich tradition of significant and diverse contributions to the cultural, educational, economic, social, and political vitality of Washington County, to include but not limited to community partners, Adelante Mujeres, Bienestar, Centro Cultural, Latino Network, and Virginia García.
Ahora, por lo tanto, se resuelve que en este día, el 23 de agosto del 2022, la Junta de Comisionados del Condado de Washington proclama que del 15 de septiembre al 15 de octubre del 2022 como el mes de la herencia hispana y alienta a todos los residentes a celebrar nuestra historia única y vibrante y volver a comprometernos a un futuro compartido con comunidades saludables, pacíficas, seguras y sostenibles para todos.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that on this 23rd day of August, 2022, the Washington County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2022 as Hispanic Heritage Month and encourage all residents to celebrate our unique and vibrant history and recommit ourselves to a shared future of healthy, peaceful, safe, and sustainable communities for all.
And with that, Madam Chair, we'll turn it back over to you and the board.
Well, thank you to the three of you, as well as to Ms. Barboza, who is here as well. Commissioners, we've had the opportunity to have the proclamation recited today. Who would like to make the motion to adopt today's proclamation? Thank you, Vice Chair Willie. Do we have a second? We have a second from Commissioner Fye. Are there any comments that any commissioners would like to make in advance of our vote? Go ahead, Vice Chair Willie.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. David, I have long advocated that when we have proclamations that we have the community around those populations make that and read that. And you did that, your team, both in English and Spanish tonight, and it was very impactful. So great job on that. Thank you to everyone who participated in this. This was a great proclamation presentation tonight, so thank you.
Any other comments from commissioners? I would like to add to that, I appreciate the thoughtfulness, not only of all of the activities that are being planned for Hispanic Heritage Month moving forward, but in addition, all of the care that has gone into telling the story of tonight's proclamation. All of the different whereas statements, they change from one year to the next. And I really appreciate the care and thoughtfulness that goes into putting this set of information together, so that no matter where any community member may intersect with our work, there's always something to be learned. So with that, commissioners, all those in favor of approving today's proclamation, please vote by raising your hand. Thank you, everyone. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 4-0. And thank you to our wonderful Washington County public servants who have joined us here this evening and brought this proclamation to life. And we all look forward to learning more through Horizons, as well as other community events and information that will be coming forward. Thank you. And before we know it, it will be September 15th. Oh my. All righty. The next item on the agenda is regarding boards and commissions. Tonight's topic involves the appointing members of the Homeless Plan Advisory Commission. And with that, I'm expecting at least someone from the set of Comey Calavar, our executive director, our director of our housing department, Jess Larson, the Supportive Housing Services Program Manager, and or Ty Schwefferman. I didn't get that right, Ty. I apologize. I do better usually. Our Community Engagement Program Director, who helps support the Homeless Plan Advisory Committee and helps us to get the word out to our community about this important advisory board. Hello there, Mr. Calavar. Good to see you.
Good evening.
I'm just back from vacation, so I am rejoicing in seeing everyone. So I'd like to turn it over to you for a brief informational presentation on this item. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Harrington and commissioners. My name is Comey Calavar. I'm housing director. I don't see Ty, so I'll go ahead. The Homeless Plan Advisory Committee is 17 members, 14 of whom have affiliations and they are appointees with specific expertise. There's 3, however, that are community members at large. And we are presenting for your consideration today, Mr. David Parker, who is the director of the YMCA of the Columbia Willamette, as a community at large member. He's not a resident of Washington County, but he works here. He's very excited to be a part of the Homeless Plan Advisory Committee. And we are excited to have him because of his expertise and work with the YMCA of Columbia Willamette. And I'm here to answer questions if you have any. Well, Mr. Parker is Asian male. He identifies as an Asian male.
I would also like to add, for the benefit of our community, that as a community partner, the YMCA of Columbia Willamette provides a variety of services that include services for childcare, after-school programs for our youth, as well as other family services and individual services that help community members gain experience, as well as have the benefit of additional stability in their lives. So I agree with you, Mr. Calavar. This is a wonderful opportunity to appoint Mr. David Parker as a member of the Homeless Plan Advisory Commission with a term ending December 31st of next year, 2023. Are there any other board comments or questions? Or if not, would anyone like to make a motion for this appointment? Thank you, Commissioner Rogers. Do we have a second? A second from Vice Chair Willie. All those in favor of this appointment motion, please raise your hand. Sorry, Commissioner Rogers, I missed seeing yours. Thank you, I appreciate it. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Calavar. The next item on our agenda, thank you, Mr. Calavar, for hanging in there on this one as well. This is related to our affordable housing program. We need to conduct a public hearing on the issuance of tax exempt bonds. They're called TEFRA hearings. And approve a resolution and order for the use of this instrument for the Goldcrest apartments. Do we have a brief staff description or presentation?
Yes, we do. Good evening, Chair Harrington and commissioners. Once again, my name is Komi Calavo, Housing Director. I am here to present TEFRA Tax Equity and Financial Responsibility Act, that's TEFRA. It's a public hearing held this evening for Goldcrest Apartments. Goldcrest is 75 units in the southern part of the county. And TEFRA is a requirement of the private activity bonds that was issued for the property. We applied for 20 million from the state treasurer and were successful in being awarded. And so this Goldcrest Apartments will be the 9th Metro Affordable Housing Bond Project to begin construction in Washington counties. This is our implementation area. The Goldcrest is actually south in Beaverton, but through our cooperation agreement, we awarded them 12 million in Metro bonds. And Goldcrest will provide 75 units of regulated affordable housing. We have previously brought this project to your board and the Housing Authority Board of Directors for various approvals as the project moved from concept towards construction start. So thank you for your ongoing support of affordable housing development in this county, and this public hearing and related resolution and order are the final terms of the project to be considered by your board before the project can get to closing and construction start. So I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
Commissioners, any questions? No? Komi, I would just like to add that I appreciate your explanation at every step because there's usually a collection of funding that is needed to support these large projects, and they're important projects. And I appreciate your explanations through all steps of the project cycle, as well as highlighting all of the funding. It's just so very helpful, and is one of the reasons why we're having this public hearing tonight, because we do our work transparently and openly so that everyone in our community has the opportunity to understand what we're doing and how we're doing it and why we're doing it. Alrighty, I know that there is some formality that is needed on this public hearing. So with that, I'd like to start by opening tonight's public hearing and check in with Board Clerk Moss.
Thank you, Chair Harrington. First, I will check in with our other line related to TEFRA hearing. Mr. Schrader, is there anyone on the line that wants to participate in this public hearing?
There are no participants this evening, Clerk Moss. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Michael. Would any other members of the public wish to provide public testimony on this public hearing related to the Golden Crest Apartments in this TEFRA hearing? I'll give you just a moment to utilize the raise hand function. Not seeing any hands, Madam Chair.
And with that, I will close this public hearing, and I would like to thank Mr. Schrader for joining us for yet again another one of these TEFRA hearings in partnership. With that, Commissioners, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the resolution and order of the TEFRA tax exempt bonds at this level for the Gold Crest Apartments. We have a motion from Commissioner Rogers. We have a second from Commissioner Fye. All those in favor of adopting this resolution in order, thank you, commissioners. Anyone opposed? The motion carries unanimously 4-0. I appreciate it, commissioners. Next, we have our second public communication opportunity of the evening. This is an opportunity for any of our community members to come and share their thoughts with the commission for up to 5 minutes. Clerk Moss, who do we have this evening?
Thank you, Chair Harrington. First, we have Jim Claus. Jim, can you hear us? There's *6 on your phone.
Say something.
Mr. Claus, if you want to have the right Susan mute her Zoom on it, then we'll be able to hear you clearly.
Okay.
There you go.
Are you ready?
We're ready. Go ahead for up to 5 minutes.
Well, first of all, I want to make something that's comical. I'm 82 years old and I've been pronounced with very terminal illness. And I can't believe that Washington County has allowed people to put duck blinds, hunting blinds on the edge of the refuge. I thought Sherwood was bad, but even they don't allow that. That's supposed to be a non-hunting refuge. But R.J. Wagner went to Congress with Mark Hatfield, the right honorable senator, and Dingell came out. He said, "You have an insane idea. You want to start a non-hunting refuge, and I guarantee you, it will not happen." And he was right. Go take a look at the duck lines that you have on the edge of that refuge. Tell me it's not a hunting refuge. But that aside, you make the mess, and I guess we'll all live with it. What I wanted to tell you is we've been moving along fairly rapidly, trying to exhaust administrative remedies because we want to go to federal court. At this time, I don't think, but I can't guarantee you will be a defendant in the lawsuit. If you had not had the time we spent getting you to move Cedar Brook Way over to the responsibility of Sherwood, you would be. But we are still trying to exhaust administrative remedies and reach finality, although the latest Supreme Court case says that may not be necessary. And where we are is we've had a meeting with the county, offered them a settlement, and told them we spent $100,000 more or less, who's counting, to try to find out who wanted Cedar Brook Way. We now know it's apparently the city. Who was going to pay for it and what it was going to be, and they came back with it's a collector and you're going to pay for it before 2040. If you look at our deeds, with the only 3 easements to enter the highway, that literally ruins one of those easements. So it's somewhat similar to Dolan, only it makes Dolan look like child's play. They want $2.5 million from us. Now, you've been very helpful, but we consider it an exaction. And we're still going to try to settle it. And we put a very, very good settlement on the table for Sherwood and their city manager, the new one, Keith Hamilton. And you have our old one working for Clean Water Services, who can't work with the Fish and Wildlife Service to help that refuge beyond belief. I like Diana Gucci Dana's spot. What can I say? No, we're going to have to spend $300,000 to $500,000, and luckily, after we finish the litigation with Columbia Bank, my family's ready to commit that money if I want to. It's child's education funds and other things I'd hope to use for more productive activities. But we do not, at this point, see any alternative. Your assessor's office surprised me because I do have a PhD in real estate finance and analysis from Berkeley. And he simply said it's worth $4.8 million on a mass appraisal. I won't talk with you. I said, wait a minute now. You're a member of a professional organization. You're supposed to. He said, I don't care. I'm not going to talk to you. Well, that's fine, because once we fix that value, we can call in into court. And of course, Clean Water Service will be involved, because we'll have to go back to Joe Gall, who works there now as the past city manager. And your transportation department is involved because you have Michelle Miller. I'll be glad to sit down with anybody and tell them what the offer is, and it is a staggering loss to us. If in fact we had not got involved with the city and their Mickey Mouse stuff that even Governor Roberts at Metro had to get involved to stop, we could have moved on. As it sits, I don't even want to tell you the amount of money that city has cost us. It's actually now in the millions. And here's my problem. We start an urban renewal plan, and bingo, we don't clean up the cannery, and we don't build a huge art center. We give the Langer family or their 19 members of the LLC a magnificent collector road that we pay for, so that, guess what? You got a Walmart can make a very good offer. It was the same deal with Home Depot.
Mr. Claus.
Anyway, thank you for your time, and
Thank you.
be glad to move on to litigation with you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, Madam Chair, we have Susan Claus. Susan, are you with us? Susan, can you hear us?
Yes, there we go. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, this is Susan Claus, and I have a couple things. Part of what Jim's talking to you about is, and Chair Harrington, I really appreciate what you said in that public hearing, that you do things transparently, you do it openly, you've got everybody has access. Unfortunately, that's not what we experience here in Sherwood, and which is very unfortunate. We've been here almost 40 years. And what we're talking about to the county is the county doesn't have jurisdiction in a lot of ways inside the city of Sherwood itself, but you guys are partners with Sherwood, and we are begging some kind of at least friendly sister brother influence to Sherwood to help, to cause them to realize that they need to be open, they need to be transparent, and when they want to put properties in unofficial moratoriums, that's not something that you can do, which is what we've been experiencing over many, many years with our highway property. Saying they're going to put a road through it, then saying it was Washington County's road, then saying it was ODOT's road. You guys have all worked together with us. So the city of Sherwood and the other agencies clearly know that road is Sherwood's. It's their responsibility. And if they've done all the damage and they put us in a moratorium, and they're responsible. They can't run to you. They can't run to ODOT and say, you guys pay for what we've done to the clauses. So we're pleading with you. And Roy, thank you so much for the many long years that you've worked, and Sherwood's part of your district. You know, in many, many ways what I'm talking about. And we've got some changes going on in Sherwood. Keith Mays is not running for mayor again. He's going to try to get on the council. So at least we'll have a different mayor. But Jim and I are pleading for help because like in this situation, one of the things I wanted to tell you, I was over at the refuge today. I walk over there several times a week, and I ran into a woman, and just offhandedly, she said, "This refuge saved my life." And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "In 2016, I could barely walk. I was circling the drain. I thought I was going to die. I came over I live in Lake Oswego. I came over and I've always loved nature. And she said, when I first started out, I could only walk to the first set of benches. She said, I now walk 400 miles a year. And she said, I've taken over 50,000 pictures of the wildlife in that wildlife refuge. It's a golden gem, not only for Sherwood, but for the county and for our state. And she said, literally, this place saved my life. Now, why I wanted to mention that to you is that refuge would not be there except for Jim Claus. And my husband, he's not going to be around very much longer. He has some terrible medical news. And my point in all of this is we've done so many things in this town for the benefit of many, many people for many, many generations. Sustainability is Jim's middle name. And it's when I hear something like that from Margaret Bankson, who lives in Lake Oswego, but for the fact that Jim pushed that thing at the city council level, it was called the Rock Creek Refuge Concept. We started in '89, didn't get done until '91. He pushed and he shoved and he got all kinds of people on board, and we made it happen as a community effort. A lot of people laid down next to it and tried to claim it as their own. I was there for everything. RJ Wagner is a friend of Jim's. That's the only reason RJ came up here, because Jim helped him and helped out the Central Valley to try to save the Pacific Flyway, of which Sherwood benefits. So what I'm saying to you is the very sacred nature of the political process and what it should do, what it should be for us in a town or us in a county, it's not there in Sherwood. And I'm asking for your blessing and for any assist you can to help our people. And the only one last thing I want to suggest, we tried to get the mayor to get some viewing cameras at the wildlife viewing areas. He wouldn't do it because it was Jim's refuge. Please, could Washington County put up some viewing cameras to go into the Washington County website so children all over the place can see some of that wildlife if they can't come to the refuge? And it's not just the children, it's everybody else. When you see the beauty of that place and you see the healing power of that refuge, it's unbelievable, and that it's sitting right in Washington County. And please, Jim also asked you just about the nature of those adjoining properties to the refuge being able to hunt.
Thank you.
If you could get
Thank you,
that
Susan.
taken care of. Thank you so much, everybody.
Would any other members of the public like to provide public testimony on any item related to county business at this time for up to 5 minutes? I'll give you just a moment to utilize the raise hand function. Not seeing any additional hands, Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Commissioner Rogers.
My question to Tom Carr. Tom, I've known the Clauses a long time, and they were testifying as you heard tonight. There's a lot of threatened litigation and a lot of comments about responsibilities. It has to do with the road that's transcending their particular property. And unless you would give different advice, we as commissioners who may or may not be involved in litigation probably shouldn't interact with those questions too much. At least that was been my understanding. And I know they cited our chair's name tonight, mine, and they're good people, they're nice people. But when there's litigation involved, there's a bit of a problem. So would you spend just a minute and tell me where I might err on that comment?
No, you're correct, Roy. That's usually my recommendation. When we have a threat of litigation, you should let the attorneys handle it, and the commissioner should not be involved.
Thank you.
All righty then. Thus ends our second public comment period of tonight's meeting. The next item on the agenda is board announcements. Thank you. I would like to announce that we have a need for an executive session that is being set up for Thursday morning, and that is in the works. Just wanted to make sure that commissioners have the opportunity to hear that. And for future meetings, we're going to be returning to in-person meetings, but they will be hybrid meetings because we know that access to our community via Zoom, TVC TV, as well as phone call-in is really important for achieving our community engagement goals. So as such, starting on the very first day of September, we're going to move to hybrid meetings. And on that day, Thursday, September 1st, we have a board roundtable that will start at 9 in the morning. The following Tuesday, the first Tuesday of September, which happens to be returning after the Labor Day weekend, Tuesday, September 6th, we will have our trifecta of meetings. Our board work session starts at 9. It pauses for us to then have the Housing Authority Board of Directors meeting at 10. We usually complete that no later than 10:30 and reconvene, or then convene as the Washington County Board of Commissioners. And then after we have that board business meeting, we will then reconvene in work session. And if that is near the lunch hour, we usually make it time certain at 1 p.m. The following week, Tuesday, September 13th, there will be a work session only starting at 9. Tuesday, September 20th, we'll have our pair of meetings, work session at 9 a.m., board meeting at 10, then reconvene work session afterwards. Then Tuesday, September 27th, just like today, work session 2 in the afternoon, followed by an evening board meeting at 6:30 p.m. I would also like to thank Commissioner Willie for having covered the special WEA Westside Economic Alliance Board of Directors meeting while I was away on vacation, as well as covering the next meeting of tomorrow afternoon. I appreciate that. That's all I have for board announcements. Is there anything commissioners would like to contribute at this time? Well, go ahead, Vice Chair Willie.
Just real quickly, I'm referring back to Brian St. John, who asked us to do an evaluation of the new recycling program. And I think that's a great idea. And I think probably Tom heard that today, and I'd love us to schedule some sort of an evaluation, maybe not real soon, but maybe in the first 6 months or something. So I just wanted to let that individual know that I think that was a great suggestion.
I just want to clarify. I thought I heard him provide positive comments towards the new Recycling Plus program in urban unincorporated Washington County, but more specifically, I thought he shared with us his interest in having the commission reevaluate the franchise system.
I didn't hear the franchise system. I heard the new enhanced recycling program. So maybe I heard that wrong, but I certainly think that since that program is new, starting July 1, I think it would behoove us to at least evaluate that. And then if I misinterpreted that, he can come back next week and correct me.
All righty. Thank you, Vice Chair Willie. So with that, do we have a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting? We have a motion from Vice Chair Willie. Do we have a second? We have a second from Commissioner Fye. All those in favor of adopting the motion, please. Thank you. Any commissioners opposed? The motion carries. We're hereby adjourning tonight's meeting of August 23rd. Did I get that date right? Let me double check. Yes, August 23rd, 2022. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.